Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a source stack that honestly I wish I had maybe 5 years ago.
Right.
We're looking at early childhood education, that really chaotic 4 to 6 age range, and we're cross-referencing it with some pretty dense zoological data on African predators.
It's an unusual combination, for sure.
Yeah,
Usually we try to keep the pedagogy and the predator separate.
you do. But the mission today is to solve a very specific problem. It's that pressure. The pressure to
Yeah.
teach your kids science. I feel like every parent I know is worried they're not doing enough enrichment.
Hmm.
We're worried that if we aren't explaining photosynthesis over breakfast, our kids are already falling behind. But looking at these papers from Harvard's Education School, from the NAEYC, it feels like we're just overcomplicating it.
We are massively overcomplicating it. The core message from all this research is that for mammals, and yes, your 5-year-old is a mammal, play isn't just a break from learning.
Okay.
Play is the learning mechanism. And to prove it, we're going to use a really specific case study today. The cheetah.
The cheetahs. I love this. I mean, partly because they're just so cool. But why them specifically? Is it just because they're fast?
That's a big part of it. But if you really look at the biology, a cheetah is basically a masterclass in form meeting function.
Okay.
They're built for this extreme physical performance, but they have these really clear, almost exaggerated traits.
Hmm.
So for a kid who's just figuring out how their own body works, the cheetah is like the perfect model to reverse engineer.
Reverse engineering the cat. I like it. So we're giving you a cheat sheet on how to use this one animal to teach biology, physics, even self-regulation without a single worksheet in sight.
Exactly.
But before we get to the sprinting, I have to challenge you a little on this play is learning idea. Because it sounds nice, but isn't it a bit soft?
It sounds soft until you actually look at the neuroscience.
Yeah,
The Harvard research talks about what they call the false dichotomy.
on the false dichotomy. Okay.
Yeah, it's this cultural idea we have that you're either playing, having fun, wasting time, or you're learning, which means sitting still and absorbing facts.
Right, like being at a desk.
But in a 4-year-old's brain, those circuits are effectively the same thing. When they're physically engaged in some kind of scenario, the connections their brain is forming are actually stronger, stickier than if they were just listening to you talk.
So if my kid is running around the living room pretending to be a cat, that's not just them burning off energy.
No, that's data entry.
That's data entry.
It's massive data entry.
Right.
And the NAEYC source, that's the National Association for the Education of Young Children, they use this metaphor that I think just nails it. They call it bumper bowling.
Okay, walk me through this. Because when I think of bumper bowling, I think of making it impossible to fail. Is that what we're doing?
Not exactly. Think about it. If you try to bowl with a preschooler and you stand there lecturing them on, spin and trajectory, they're going to zone out in 5 seconds.
Oh, instantly. Yeah.
If you throw the ball for them, they learn nothing. But if you just let them throw gutter balls for an hour, they have a complete meltdown.
Right. Total frustration.
So what do? You put up the bumpers, you change the environment to increase the probability of success, but the child still has to be the one to throw the ball.
Ah, okay.
In this context, your job isn't to be the teacher with a lecture about cheetahs. Your job is to set up the bumpers, the environment, the props, a few rules, so your kid can discover the concepts on their own.
So you're the stage manager, not the lead actor.
Exactly. And the research is so clear on this. If you follow your child's interest and you use repetition, the learning just goes so much deeper than simple memorization.
I'm sold. Okay, let's build this predator. We had to start with the obvious one. Speed. The data says these cats are basically the Ferraris of the savannah.
They are absolute machines.
Yeah.
We're talking 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds.
Wow.
That's faster than most sports cars. But for a kid, the number,
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter. It's the mechanics of the speed.
So how do we translate 60 miles per hour into a game for a kid with, much shorter legs?
We focus on the cheetah sprint, but we get specific about the biomechanics. The source material points out that cheetahs have this incredibly flexible spine. It acts like a loaded spring. When they run, they can cover up to 7 meters in a single stride.
7 meters! That's like jumping across my entire living room in one step.
It's huge. So the activity is simple. You go to a park or even a long hallway. First, you ask your kid to run like a human, just normal running.
Okay.
Then you flip the switch. Now, be a cheetah. And you get them to focus on really long strides, swinging their arms, stretching out their body.
You want them to feel the difference in how their body is working.
Yes, you want them to feel those fast-twitch muscle fibers engage. But And this is the critical part that most people miss. You have to teach the crash.
The crash.
The whole biology of the cheetah is a trade-off. They're built for speed, not for endurance. They just don't have the cooling systems that we have. So if they sprint for more than, say, 30 seconds, their body temperature goes through the roof. They risk brain damage.
Wow.
They must stop and rest.
Oh, I relate to this animal on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
Sprint for 15 seconds, then lie on the floor for 20 minutes.
It's the only way they survive. So in the game, you have them sprint for 10 or 15 seconds, and then you yell overheat, and they have to collapse on the ground.
And just lie there.
Well, you have them put a hand on their heart. You ask them, what's your heart doing right now? What about your breathing? And this is where the neuroscience kicks in again. You're helping them connect the physical action with the internal feeling.
You're teaching them to read their own dashboard.
That's a great way to put it. It's called interoception, sensing the internal state of your own body.
Right.
By connecting heavy breathing with, I need to rest, you are literally teaching the foundation of self-regulation.
Huh.
You're teaching that your body has limits and that resting isn't being lazy. It's a biological necessity for being able to perform.
That's a life lesson most adults I know haven't mastered. Okay, so we've got the engine, we're moving fast. But if you're going that fast and you try to turn, physics says you should fly off course. How does the cheetah handle corners?
This is where we look at the tail. And I think for most of us, we think of a tail as just there. Maybe for swatting flies or something.
Yeah, an accessory.
But for cheetah, the tail is a serious piece of engineering. It's heavy, it's long, it's muscular.
It's not just a decoration.
It's a rudder, or maybe more accurately, a counterweight. When a cheetah is chasing something
Yeah.
and the gazelle zigs left, the cheetah throws its tail hard to the right.
Oh, interesting.
It creates this counter torque.
Counter torque. Look at us getting all technical.
It basically cancels out the rotational inertia so the cheetah doesn't wipe out. It keeps them totally stable.
That is so cool. How do you explain counter torque to a 4-year-old without a whiteboard and a physics degree?
You play the tail for balance game. You just tuck a scarf or a long ribbon into their waistband. Make it nice and long like a cheetah's tail.
Okay.
Then you set up some pillows or cushions in a zigzag, and you have them run and weave through them.
And the goal is to get them to use the tail.
You prompt them. You say, when you turn, feel your tail swing. Now, obviously a scarf doesn't generate real torque, but the act of thinking about their balance shifts their whole focus.
It builds that spatial awareness.
It builds proprioception, which is just knowing where your body is in space. And also, let them fall. If they wipe out, that's just physics in action.
Yeah.
That's more data for the brain.
Right. You failed to account for inertia, kid.
Exactly. But you frame it as, whoops, our tail didn't swing fast enough. Let's try again. It normalizes that clumsiness that comes with learning any new motor skill.
Okay, moving up the body, we've got legs, spine, tail. Let's talk about the face. Because cheetahs have that really distinct look with the black lines running down from their eyes.
The tear marks?
Right? I always just assumed that was camouflage or something. But the research says it's actually functional.
Oh, it's highly functional. It works exactly like the eye black that you see American football players wear.
No way.
Yeah. Cheetahs are diurnal hunters. They hunt during the day. And the sun on the savanna is just brutal. Those black lines absorb the sunlight so it doesn't reflect into their eyes. It cuts the glare.
So they're wearing permanent built-in sunglasses.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And this leads us to another great game. We call it Fast Eyes. Because cheetahs are visual hunters. They don't sniff out prey like a wolf would. They scan the horizon. They use their sight.
So how do we play that? Is it just hide and seek?
It's hide and seek with one very important rule. You'll hide some toy animals around the room. But, and this is the challenge, the child cannot move their feet until they spot the prey.
Oh, that is torture for a preschooler. All they want to do is run and grab.
It is surprisingly hard for them. You're asking them to suppress a major motor impulse. They have to stand still, use only their eyes, process the whole visual field, and then they can move.
You're training their brain's brakes.
We call it inhibitory control. It's a key executive function, and it's located right in the prefrontal cortex. By forcing that little pause, look first, then move, you are literally exercising the part of the brain that's responsible for things like patience and planning.
That's fascinating. So a simple game of spot the toy is actually a workout for their prefrontal cortex.
If you frame it right, the prompt should be something like freeze. What do your cheetah eyes see?
I love that. Now, you mentioned they're diurnal hunters. That feels like a big concept for a little kid, the difference between day and night animals.
It is. But 4-year-olds are obsessed with binaries. Good and bad, hot and cold, day and night. It's how they start to categorize the world.
So why do cheetahs hunt in the day? Isn't it really hot?
It is, but the night is more dangerous. At night, you have lions and leopards hunting. And frankly, a lion will just bully a cheetah. They're stronger, heavier.
Right.
So the cheetah basically takes the day shift to avoid the competition.
They're avoiding the bullies. Smart.
So you can play day and night. You just use a lamp or a flashlight as the sun. When the light is on, we're cheetahs. We're prowling, we're sprinting.
Yeah.
When the light goes off...
The lions are coming out.
Exactly. We have to hide, be quiet, go to sleep. It introduces the concept of competition and adaptation in a really simple way. Animals change their behavior based on who else is around.
Plus, that's a great way to wind down a rowdy play session. Oh no, the lions are here. Time to lie under the blanket and be quiet for 5 minutes.
That is a pro-level parent move right there.
Let's talk about where they live. We've been talking about the animal, but the habitat is so important. The sources all mention the open savanna.
Right. And this is a little geography lesson. Cheetahs need that open space to hit their top speed. They can't hunt in a dense forest. They'd run right into a tree.
So how do we teach that? We don't pull out a map, do we?
No maps. We use constructive play. Get out the blocks, the pillows, whatever loose parts you have. You tell your child, we need to build a home for our cheetahs.
And you just let them build whatever they want.
You let them build. And if they build a dense jungle with obstacles everywhere, you don't correct them. You let them try to run their toy cheetah through it. And you just ask, can he run fast in here?
And when he keeps bumping into the Legos.
Then they realize it themselves. Oh, he needs a clear path. They're solving the problem. They're learning that the environment dictates behavior. That's a huge concept in ecology, and they just learned it by moving some blocks around.
I want to pivot to something that I found the most surprising in the stack. The cubs.
Right.
Because cheetah cubs, they don't look like the adults at all. They have this weird, fluffy mohawk on their back.
The mantle. Yeah, it's this long strip of silvery gray fur. And for a long time, zoologists were really puzzled by it. But the leading theory now is just incredible. It's mimicry.
What are they mimicking?
The honey badger.
Wait, really? The most notoriously aggressive animal on the planet.
The honey badger is legendary for being nasty. Lions, hyenas, they all avoid honey badgers because they are just tough and they fight back like crazy.
Wow.
So the theory is that cheetah cubs have evolved to look like a honey badger from a distance, so that other predators think, I'm not messing with that, and they just keep on walking.
That is the best fake out in the entire animal kingdom. Don't eat me, I'm crazy.
It's brilliant. But for our purposes, it brings up the concept of camouflage and safety.
Yeah.
So you can play hide the cub. You use blankets or scarves. You, the parent, are the predator walking by, and the child is the cub. And they have to freeze and blend in.
This feels like it touches on emotional regulation again.
It absolutely does. It's high-stakes emotional control. Can you stay calm and still even when you feel a little bit scared or excited? It also really reinforces that parent-child bond. Mom or dad is looking out for me and keeping me safe.
Now, we can't do a deep dive on cheetahs without talking about the sound they make, because I think most people just assume, big cat, big roar.
And they would be completely wrong. Biologically, cheetahs are missing the specific floating hyoid bone that animals like lions have, which is what allows them to roar. So if you ask a cheetah to make a noise, it sounds more like a bird.
It chirps.
It chirps, it purrs, and it hisses. It's very high-pitched and quiet.
So playing a sound circle game isn't just about making silly noises.
No, it's about auditory discrimination. You can ask your child, is this a lion sound or a cheetah sound? Have them practice the difference in volume. A roar is loud, a chirp is quiet. Learning to modulate their own voice, to know they can be quiet and still communicate, is a huge social skill.
Okay, so we have the movement, the senses, the habitat, the babies. How do we pull this all together? We don't want these to just feel like random activities.
We stitch them together with a narrative. We call it a day in the life. You basically sequence the events of a cheetah's day.
Like telling a story.
Exactly. First, the cheetah wakes up. Then, he stretches his long back. Next, he uses his fast eyes to look for prey. Then he sprints. This builds sequencing skills.
First, then next.
That basic structure is the absolute precursor to reading comprehension. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. By physically acting out that sequence, they're internalizing story structure. And honestly, let the kid direct. If they say, then the cheetah eats pizza, you just roll with it.
Right. The cheetah eats pizza, but he eats it very, very fast.
Exactly.
There is one heavy topic we have to touch on, though. conservation. The sources all mention habitat loss, fences, human conflict. It's sad stuff. How do you bring that up with a 4-year-old without completely traumatizing them?
You have to be so gentle. At this age, you just don't talk about things like extinction or poaching. It's too abstract and it's way too scary. You focus on the needs that you've already established through play.
The need for space to run.
Exactly. You can say, remember how cheetahs need big open fields to run fast? Well, if people build too many roads or fences, the cheetah has nowhere to run.
It makes it a logic problem, not a tragedy.
It does. It appeals to their sense of empathy and their understanding of rules. If there's a fence in the way, I can't run. So you can play protect the cheetah. You build a sanctuary in the living room. You clear away the rubbish or the fences so the cheetah has a safe space.
It gives them a sense of agency. It's not just the cheetahs are in trouble, it's we can help fix their home.
That sense of stewardship is what sticks with them.
So we've thrown a lot of activities at everyone listening. The sprint, the tail, the eyes, the building. I think the big fear for a parent is, what if my kid doesn't get it? What if they just want to run in circles and don't care about the honey badger mimicry?
Then you let them run in circles.
Really?
Absolutely. We have to manage our expectations. We're not trying to get a 4-year-old to pass a zoology exam. The goal is just exposure to big concepts.
So if they don't remember the word diurnal, we haven't failed.
Not at all. Not even close. I mean, think about the realistic outcomes here. If your child walks away understanding, running really fast makes my body tired and I need to rest, that is a huge win for body awareness.
Okay.
If they understand animals have babies and need to keep them safe, that's a massive win for empathy.
We're planting seeds, not harvesting crops.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And practically speaking, please do not try to do this entire curriculum in one afternoon. You will burn out and your kid will have a meltdown.
So just pick and choose.
Rotate based on their energy.
Yeah.
If your kid is bouncing off the walls, do the cheetah sprint. If they're in a quiet mood, play the fast eyes game. And repetition is your best friend. Doing the same sprint game 3 days in a row isn't boring for a child. It's mastery. They love knowing the rules and getting better at it.
It builds their confidence. I know how to be a cheetah.
Exactly.
I really appreciate this whole approach. It takes so much pressure off the parent to be the knower of all things. We're just setting up the bumpers.
The Harvard research really emphasizes that you are already doing enough just by interacting with your child. You don't need a special degree. You just need to be curious. If you're curious about how a cheetah moves, your child will be too.
I love that. Curiosity is contagious. So for everyone listening, here's your challenge for this week. Just try one of these. Maybe it's the tail game tie a scarf on and weave around the kitchen. Or maybe it's the rest lesson sprint for 15 seconds and then feel your heartbeat.
And if I can leave you with one last thought to chew on, just think about that sprint and rest cycle.
The whole overheating issue.
Yeah. We live in a culture that just tells us to go, go, go constantly. But the fastest animal on land, this ultimate performance machine, it cannot function without significant downtime. If the cheetah needs to rest to survive and be successful,
Then maybe we do too.
maybe we and our kids need to value our rest time just as much as our sprint time.
That is a profound thought. Maybe I'm not lazy. I'm just thermoregulating like a cheetah.
You're just preparing for your next burst of speed.
I'm definitely going to use that. Remember, you are the expert on your own child. Have fun with the bumpers.
And thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.